Sure, buddy. Give me 1 second. Okay, go ahead.
Watch your toes, gentlemen, please. Thank you. Door opens outwards. Now, Tess, can you kind of get a pass? I'm just going to go around you to get inside. Appreciate it.
Y'all can do this over there? Y'all want to work right now. Come on.
I'm trying to get it moving. I'm trying to get it moving. 2 minutes. No.
Do masks work? Sir, do masks work? Do masks work? Do masks work? Because you're not wearing it right if they do. Do masks work?
Again, I'll ask politely, can I get a pass? Because he's going to have to go around you to the other side. So the quicker he can get to you, the quicker you can stop what he's doing. So if you, I don't care what you do, just make a pass so you can get through. Again, miss, can I get a pass so you can go through, please?
Mr. Sharpton, why have you not been an advocate for the children? All of the kids that are being brought over that have been drugged or sedated coming into the country, where up to 40% of the kids that have come across the border have gone missing. Where is your voice then? Why are you not speaking up for these children, sir? Why are you not being a voice for the children, for all the kids that have gone missing? Why are you not speaking up for the children that have gone missing within the government?
Racist.
Nobody's screaming in your face. Nobody's screaming in your face. Nobody's even talking to you.
To my
Where's the Democrat Party at?
former U.S. ambassador to South Africa.
Why are you not being a voice for the children missing at the border? 40% of children that have come in unaccompanied are now missing from the border. Kids are being sedated at the U.S. border. Why are you not being a voice for the children? Must be mainstream back there. Why are you trying to come and provoke violence? Why are you here advocating for violence? Why are you here advocating for violence? Del Rio is not a racist city. Del Rio is a loving, caring community. We don't want your racism in Texas. Get out of here. Nobody wants to hear your racist nonsense in Del Rio. You're a racist. Nobody wants you in Texas. Nobody wants you in Texas. Why are you not a voice for the children that have gone missing at the border? Where is your voice then? Get out with your racism. Get out with your reverse racism. Get out of here. Texas does not want your nonsense. This is a loving community. We denounce your racism and your hatred. Get out of Texas. Get out of Texas. Where are you speaking up for Americans? Why do you not speak up for the American citizens? Why don't you speak up for the children that are being trafficked through the border? Why are you not a voice for the 40% of children that have gone missing this year alone? Stop with the race baiting. Del Rio will not succumb to your nonsense. Del Rio is not a racist community. Our border patrol agents are not racist. Our border patrol agents are heroes. 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 Get out of here. Del Rio denounces your racism and bigotry. Get out of here. Texas does not welcome you, you bigot, you racist.
Keep it off. It's one fun for everybody.
Why are you not being a voice for the children? Why don't you advocate for children, man? Huh? Look at me. Why don't you advocate for the children? Look at me, you little coward. Look at me. You coward. You coward. You coward. You're a coward, Al Sharpton. You're a coward.
No, you're being a coward. Not even coming here and pulling their shenanigans.
Who are you? Nobody's even talking to you. You're nobody. Get out of
She
here.
is somebody, and you know what? You keep talking about love and all that stuff. You ain't acting loving.
You know what this
So you
guy is
act
doing?
loving. You
Bringing
understand?
nonsense
You
into this
act loving.
community,
You
bringing a
act
bunch of
loving.
freaking
There ain't no
racism.
nonsense.
This is
Ain't
all
no
race
racism.
bait.
That's
This
what you
is all
doing.
race
You doing the
bait.
racism.
This is all
You
race
doing the
bait.
racism.
Well,
You
I'm a
doing the
first
racism.
generation,
You
first
doing the
generation
racism.
American.
You doing
I
the
stand for
racism.
Americans, chump.
Whatever.
Go get a shot.
I ain't backing down from you, chumps. I had enough of you leftist pussies. Say something.
You didn't figure anything different in this, did you? Surely. You didn't figure anything different. I'm not walking down here. Go home.
Anthony is right. That man has been nothing but a racist since I can remember, and that's been a long time. A big racist.
Yeah, we fix one, see? We cannot.
Loud enough?
But at the same time, two forces for everybody.
I'm a quiet
Two
person,
forces.
but just seeing him far out the
We have
anger.
a fix we have to protect you.
That's it.
I didn't hear a word he said. I guess that's good. I said I hope I come out loud and clear. Like
I haven't yelled like that since high school pep rallies, man.
You know he was pissed.
Oh, they were pissed that we didn't give them nothing. He didn't get no freaking welcome. Hell nah. Not in Texas, baby. Not on my watch. We fighting back. We fighting back.
he thought Democrat.
We fighting back.
I'm gonna get this little blue crown. Fuck you.
We fighting back.
I'm curious if it's gonna pop. I'm gonna go watch TV news. Usually comes out.
Yeah. These guys come down to my state thinking that they're gonna attack and race bait this community into that racial bullshit division. I sat there and just made sure that his time was blown, that he's not sitting here preaching his nonsense, trying to preach his words into existence. We need to stand up against these leftists. No more. There's no more. We cannot no longer afford to just idly sit by and sit quietly and let them spew their hate. That is hate that he's down here trying to advocate for. Why isn't he being an advocate for all of those children? 40% of children that have come in over the southern border are trafficked. Why is he not being a voice for those children? For the children that are out at the border sedated and drugged, being trafficked across, being recycled. Why is he being a voice then? You're not going to come into Texas and try to bait us into your racial division. We have enough problems here at the border. Our border patrol agents are patriots. Those are patriots out there trying to do their best with little authority and little with the little authority that this administration is granting them. I'm not going to the airport. Did you see how those leftists got? They get triggered and they get violent. I wasn't even addressing two of the people that all of a sudden started yelling at me in my face. I'm not going to sit there and back down. What are you going to do, assault me in front of all the cameras? I'm simply exercising my right to express myself and to be able to speak freely. Not just because I'm out here means that I'm going to be sucking up to you. Not only, this wasn't a quick stop for people that are going to be sucking up to them or applauding them or licking their boots. Enough of this nonsense. These people are race baiting. That's all they're doing. And they left pissed off because we did not allow them to come in here with their negative sermon trying to divide such a beautiful community. This community has shown nothing but love towards everybody. I mean, this community is listen, as hard as a time that this community is having, this community helps each one another, no matter what no matter what race, no matter whether you're here legally or illegally. This community is resilience. I love Del Rio. La gente de aquí, firme. They're good people here. These are firm people. And aside from everything that is currently happening in their community, they manage to be always with a smile on their face, and they've shown me nothing but love. So my sincerest appreciation to the people of Del Rio. Much respect to y'all. No more. No more. No more. Is that a White Claw, Anthony? No, it's a monster, my friend. Oh man, all right. I'm gonna turn the camera around and I'm gonna take you guys back out there.
In Laredo, the Border Patrol checkpoint in Laredo was closed for 14 hours over this weekend.
Do you know who this Sergei Kuchev is?
I do
The
not.
son of Nikita Kuchev, who was in front of President Kennedy. He died here in 2020. Not even the son of Nikita Kuchev.
Got it.
You remember the missiles, the Cuba?
Yes.
Okay, that guy come here because not because he doesn't have money,
Which
not
is
because
why-
of healthcare, but because he come to land where they have freedom, peace, and one can understand each other.
Thank you very much.
Russia,
I'm going to move on. I thank you for that.
What happened? What's the common element?
So we all want to know what's happened, but we know that when you have checkpoints shut down for days, I don't care if you're coming from Russia, Cuba, or Haiti, or China, or North Korea. The amount of ordinances that could have been smuggled by, the amount of military people that could have been smuggled by, the amount of drugs, fentanyl, all of these things that we know are a plague on our country, all of those things could have been pushed by. We have a crisis on the border, and it's time for us to have serious actors and serious people that are serving us in elected office. One of the reasons why I am running for Texas Land Commissioner is because I know that Texas has to be strong if we are going to protect the United States of America. Texas has to be strong if we're going to protect the border. Texas has to be strong if we are going to remain a world power. If Texas is not strong, and if Texas falls, the United States will fall. We have to make sure that we are processing individuals. We have to make sure that we are providing all of the things that need to be done to secure our border, but we cannot allow open border policies to exist in these United States of America. Texas is the first and last line of defense. And I call on each and every one of you here today to go to the earlier part of this conversation where we talked about our press release related to shutting down all of these buses transporting anybody from any country that is an unsecured viral infection, and making sure that we've put that with Department of Public Safety, because it's almost a $90,000 fine per head. Sir, your question?
The only reason I'll come down, he's seen them boys on horses there, quarterbacks. He probably never sit on a quarter horse before, or he wouldn't have been down here now.
I will tell you, I went to college on a bull riding scholarship. I grew up in South Texas. I went to college rodeos right here in Uvalde, not very far away. And everybody knows that if you're riding ranch horses and you're riding cutting horses, and before y'all think that we're talking about cutting on your arms, in the ranch world, cutting horses cut cattle out of the herd so you can load them up. Split reins are necessary because you might get off your horse and you might tie your horse up. Have y'all ever seen a post? You can't tie a non-split rein horse to a post. It's very simple. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Ben Rodriguez from Talk About It Live. We had you on our show a while back.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you being on there. I don't know if you mentioned it, but also Frank and I have been talking about actually focusing on the commercial drivers as well to inspect these trucks. We know that probably about 9 out of 10 of them should even be on Texas
on the
highways.
microphone. That is hilarious.
Your indication of that.
tell you that Border Patriot Francisco, my friend who has that, I was with him here a few months ago, and one of the things that he told me that resonated on those people that are driving, that are in the economy of transportation. Not the good, honest people, but the people that know there's 15,000 trucks a day that cross the border in Laredo, that are playing the numbers, that are loading people in there, loading illegal people and illegal ordinances in there to get across. Francisco and this group actually, Talk About It Live, told me that we needed to inflict pain. We went to work on it, trying to figure out how we could come up with a solution that actually solved the problem. Not an unfunded mandate like we see from DC all the time, or Austin, Texas. And that's where we came up with the idea of going after these people with the regulations that exist related to their licenses, related to their livelihood, and making sure that we get the bad guys off the roads. If you're doing good, welcome to Texas. If you're doing bad, we're sending you wherever you came from. This is a copy of it here, and you feel free to see that.
Señor Martínez, una pregunta nomás para saber. ¿Podría dar un resumen en español para la audiencia hispana?
Sure.
Okay.
Cuando acabe aquí, lo hacen en español.
En español.
Sí, claro que sí.
One more point was we got reports also that the trains that are coming in, like especially specific to Piedras, Negras, haven't been changing crews. And so, but in those trains, are you guys?
So it is true that the trains are no longer being inspected. That's part of where we had bail-offs happening in Uvalde, because trains were being inspected and they were unloading. So the unloading is still happening, but the inspecting is not. One of the things that we want to do, and I met with the border, he gave his first press conference here recently, and I told him, I said, Chief, it dismayed me that when you said all of the agencies that were helping you, the land office was not one of them. And I told him, as the largest landowner in Texas, I will make sure that every part of our land is open for law enforcement to patrol at their free will, and as we do projects on those things, that we're going to add into our criteria assessing the trafficking that's taking place in those areas, but including adding technology, adding our own evaluations so that we can know who's coming across. Right now, the border checkpoints, you know what they don't have? They don't have x-ray machines x-raying the trucks coming through the border checkpoints. I'm from Texas my whole life. That's new information for me. I would have thought that every checkpoint, 20 miles in or 30 or 40, wherever they're placed, would have the x-ray machines like they have at ports of entry. Why? Why don't we have that? That is a simple, common sense solution that we need to have to protect our children, to protect our families.
We
Next
have
question.
side ones, but if you look at them, they're rusted down,
Right.
because they've been told not to use them.
Exactly. Some of the other questions that have been asked is how many illegal aliens are crossing. I can tell you that we've verified that with the numbers that are being reported, it's consistent that it does represent 20% of the total number that's come across. So realize that we've got 80% are unnumbered. 80% are unnumbered. All right, I'm used to being out in the heat, even though I'm in a suit, so it doesn't bother me. If you guys have any other questions, I'll take 2 more questions. We'll wrap this up. WestonforTexas.com. I'm running for Texas Land Commissioner. I was formerly Texas Real Estate Commissioner, appointed by Governor Perry, served there almost 7 years. And I have a background in oil and gas, real estate, infrastructure. What we have happening right now is a disgrace, and nobody is reporting on this, and you guys can all break the story. New Orleans has been without power for 3 weeks. One of my jobs as land commissioner is to get people back in their homes after a hurricane. Because of my infrastructure background and my background in the home development world, I know how to do that very fast, and faster than it's been done. But the fact that the media, unfortunately, is distracted with this over here, and I understand it's with good intentions, please run a story, call your producers, tell them to do a story about what's taking place in New Orleans. We have people that have been without power for 3 weeks. It's worse than what we've seen in the past. So thank you for your time, and I'll do the one in Spanish here in just a few minutes. Thank you.
¿Se nos puedes dar el resumen?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. This is all leftist media. migrant that just got dropped off from the hospital. They're literally coming and dropping them off in taxi with nobody oversight, nobody checking, nobody keeping tabs on these people. They're leaving the hospital after being treated, and then they just get dropped off right here at the gate with zero oversight, no law enforcement with them or taking care of them, making sure that they get back over here.
All right.
I got a lease over Southeast Valley. I got a lease Southeast Valley. They found a dead bird over there. Biggest single largest landowner in Texas. You know who that is. Been snake bit and left him behind. He was all down.
Thank you, sir.
Muy bien, señor. Cuéntenos un poquito acerca de esto, por favor, si es tan amable.
A las cámaras, señor, por favor.
Voy a ayudar un poquito a usted.
A las cámaras, por favor, señor.
Sí, mi nombre es Weston Martínez. I'm a Texas Land Commissioner. Soy de Texas, soy de los Estados Unidos. Estamos aquí en la ciudad de Río, Texas, el otro lado de Acuña, porque aquí en este día me mandan una press release que dijeron que la gente que está enfermo, que están entre los trocas, que están caminando aquí en los Estados Unidos, en Texas, es una cosa que no pasa en la ley. La ley dije, si tengo las personas y entre los trocas que está enfermo, no me importa de dónde era. Si en la troca si está enfermo, it's breaking the law. A cada persona, 84,000 pesos a cada persona is the fine. The maximum, $1,096,000. La gente que andaban aquí poniendo las personas dentro la autobús, sabes que la ley dije. Y ellos saben que la ley dije, si lo haces estas cosas, te voy a quitar su licencia. Y es que está haciendo aquí este día, en este press release. Porque la gente que está aquí, está enfermo, está cruzando aquí en el río, pero la gente en los dos lados, México y los Estados Unidos, no le importa. El presidente de los Estados Unidos, he doesn't care about these people. Que puede hacer ayuda a él a todas las cosas que está diciendo a las personas en Texas, en los Estados Unidos. Yo tengo amigos que andaban a un mes agarrando fotos y videos a los autobuses y los números a las personas que tengo la gente en la tranvía para ponerlos en lugares. Mi amigo aquí, Anthony, sabes también, Anthony, sin press, pero diga qué está haciendo aquí con este mensaje, por favor.
Hay miles de niños que están siendo traficados. En las últimas semanas hemos encontrado a niños que han sido sedados, drogados, y la administración absolutamente no dice nada, pero el momento cuando tenemos a un delincuente, porque es lo que es, cuando cruzas el río quebrando las reglas federales, eres un delincuente. Y si te están tratando de hacer de que no entres al país, porque los demócratas no hablan sobre los niños que están siendo traficados, que ahorita hasta el 40% de los niños ya no los pueden contactar, completamente desaparecidos. No hablan sobre eso, pero el momento que ahorita están tratando de proteger por fin nuestras fronteras, vienen a tratar de dividir a más la comunidad. Entonces eso debe de ser
Oye, Anthony, algo que nos llamó la atención, lo de las IDs, algo que encontraron, ese tema es algo interesante.
Sí.
Oh my God.
¿Tú también pudiste ingresar?
¿Qué nos puedes compartir?
¿Al campamento pudieron ingresar?
Sí.
Ok.
¿Yo en
¿Qué fue
inglés?
lo que encontraron?
¿Qué?
Saraí Méndez de Televisa México. ¿Qué fue lo que encontraron en el campamento?
Miren, la condición en la que vivieron toda la gente, empezaron a quebrar el bambú que está sobre el río, empezaron a hacer casas. Tenemos videos de los niños que están entrando y saliendo de los portabaños que tienen allá, jugando adentro de ellos. Desafortunadamente el agua también, o sea, aunque no estoy de acuerdo en la forma en la que ingresaron al país, les tienen una bandeja de agua grande, pero pues el agua está hirviendo, ¿verdad? Porque pues está bajo el sol todo el día, está a más de 105 grados Fahrenheit, entonces el agua que ellos tienen, aunque es potable, está muy caliente para que ellos estén tomando.
¿Les están dando comida?
Sí, tienen comida, tienen bastante de todo, pero eso sí es algo que a mí me llamó mucho la atención.
Anthony, háblame un poquito de las IDs.
Las IDs, básicamente los IDs lo que están haciendo estas personas es que el momento que ellos cruzan a los Estados Unidos y los agentes de los Estados Unidos vienen sabiendo que vienen de otro país que no es Haití, automáticamente ellos son descalificados para tener el asilo político. Entonces ellos están tirando sus credenciales antes de entrar al país para después ellos poder decir a los agentes que los están procesando que vienen de Haití, que a lo mejor hay un registro que nacieron allá, pero la gente no va a saber si vienen de Haití o de otro país. Entonces muchos de ellos están diciendo que vienen directamente de Haití y que fueron afectados por las circunstancias en las cuales están pasando.
Hay gente que son de otros países que no es de Haití.
Que nacieron en Haití, ¿verdad? Pero ya llevan 3, 4, 5, 6 años que nos llevan viviendo ahí. Muchos estaban viviendo en Brasil, en Chile, que son de donde son estas identificaciones. Entonces ellos antes de cruzar por completo a los Estados Unidos están tirando las credenciales para que
Su nombre, por favor, y la organización a la que pertenece.
Anthony Aguero, Border Network News.
¿Eres periodista?
Sí, señorita.
¿Quieres entrar con el señor?
Sí.
Ok. ¿Y su nombre de nuevo?
Weston Martinez, for Texas Land Commissioner.
Muchas gracias.
Muy bien. Thank you.
Listo.
Gracias.
Yes, sir.
Señor Anthony.
Sí, claro. And again, follow about what's going on in New Orleans, please.
So this is just a fraction of what we found over there. There's thousands of them. They're dumping them all. And for every 200 you find of Chile and Brazil, you find one from Haiti. The vast majority are all from Chile and Brazil. And the sad thing is, we asked them. They're telling us that they've been told to tell that they're from Haiti because that's the only way that they can request asylum. Otherwise, they'll be dying right on the spot because they've already been given asylum in Chile and Brazil.
Folks, if you don't think we're at war, you're wrong. We are absolutely at war. Our border is non-existent. Our border is more porous than the sand on the beach at South Padre Island.
I mean, the proper term is that we have to look into and look up colonization. Busquen la definición de colonization. Eso es lo que nos está pasando.
It is a hostile takeover. It is a hostile takeover.
Colonization.
Thank you for getting these things. It's just when you think it's bad, it's always worse.
Well, and you gave too much credit to the media because they could, we went over there to get it. They could go and do the same thing, but they seem to not want to report that. They want to talk about Border Patrol on horseback instead of the truth of the trafficking that's going on, and the children that are being destroyed and taken advantage of, and the cartels that are being enriched because of their policies.
And it's disgusting. And thank you guys for going there and getting that. Because if we didn't have patriots like this risking their lives, I mean, look, we're the ones that are down here away from our families. You don't see Julian Castro over here. Where is Julian?
He doesn't care.
Where's Joaquin?
He doesn't care.
I don't see those guys. None of them.
Unless they can pander, they're not here.
Kamala Harris did not even come down here for the inaugural press conference of the new chief of the U.S. Border Patrol that is a resident hometown boy in Del Rio, Texas. And not only is he qualified, he happens to be Hispanic. This administration is by far the most racist administration we've ever had in the history of the United States of America. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Martinez, where can they find you?
WestonForTexas.com. You can find me at any Whataburger or any Buc-ee's. Those are my unofficial campaign headquarters. So anytime you drive by Whataburger or Buc-ee's, remember it's time to vote for Weston Martinez. But no, WestonForTexas.com and at Weston Martinez on all the social media platforms. We want to make sure that we have a Texas left to live in after this invasion. We cannot take care of our families if we cannot even take care of the border. Don't talk to me about property taxes. Don't talk to me about building roads and infrastructure. I can't even secure the border. We have to prioritize our mission. Now, I want to cut property taxes, but We got too many politicians paying us lip service, and it's time to put people over politics.
You know, we're sending millions of dollars to Kazakhstan to secure their border, but we can't invest any money in securing our own.
It's intentional. We have people serving in office that should be charged with treason. And I don't use that word lightly. I use it with every intent of the definition.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, guys. God bless y'all.
So what are you seeing, man? What is, I mean, I know the whole ID stuff, you know, people are dropping them off. What's happening when they're crossing?
It's just, everybody's focused right here right now.
Right.
And everything else is like, we're getting hit everywhere, bro. Like, some of our Border Patrol friends are like, you guys can go here, you guys can go there. Like, it's wide open. And at all hours of the day, man, there's just...
There is no border.
There is no border, man. Like, if you drive down freaking 3 miles from here, if you go over there to Diablo East dude, I was there yesterday, bro. Like, there's people set up camp that are just bringing people over. Like, we went all like 38 miles all the way into that lake. There's people set up out there, bro, and then they don't even, like, the guy was like, man, I know the fishermen out here usually. These are locals that have been out here for years, bro, and there's people set up out there, you know, on weird little boats bringing people.
Can you give me a quick update? Do you mind if I record?
Oh, yeah. Let's go to the shed, yeah.
His name is Martinez.
Yeah, Weston Martinez.
Well, they have these IDs. They have these IDs.
Who you with, man?
Man, I'm just a pastor, bro.
Oh, you're a pastor? Man. Introduce yourself. We got a couple hundred people watching right now.
What's going on, guys? It's Pastor Humberto Renovato from San Antonio, Revive Church in San Antonio. Just coming out here to simply see everything, get the facts of what's happening here in our border crisis, and we want to come and just assist each and every person, all the way from law enforcement to even our Haitian migrants that are coming in. But you know, there's deeper issues, and we want to find out.
All right.
Can I share? Where you going? You share?
Yeah. Real Anthony Aguero all together on YouTube.
Real?
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, just tell us a little bit of an update, man, of what's happening right now in our borders.
So currently Border Patrol has been able to get some of these individuals out from under the bridge and get them on their way for processing. But what we're witnessing is we're hearing sensationalized stories of minimum amount of people that they're claiming to be deporting. And so the number of individuals that are being taken from here to go get processed and then to get deported does not match up the amount of flights that we are seeing leaving the country. You know, there's a huge disadvantage or a huge disconnect, I think, from even the American people as far as how many people are still coming in and at what rate we are getting them out. As of right now, I believe the number is at under 5,000 individuals down here now. It was just a few days ago, I've been out here about 5 days now, and a few days ago, in there it sounded like a football stadium, and I'll tell you why. I was actually able to go down there, and while I was down there and I was, trying to get the vibe, trying to feel, my way in there and see who I could potentially speak to, some of the reporters that are out here went down there with us, and while we were down there, that was the first day that deportations had just begun. CNN reporters were down there, and they started gaslighting these individuals without them even knowing they were on the verge of being deported. CNN goes down there and then asks them, do you guys know you guys are getting deported, basically in Spanish? And so the guy turns around, he calls his buddies up, and I'm literally watching them start panicking. And later on that night, that's when we heard the crowd roaring in there. We are under the understanding that there was some kind of tear gas that was deployed that same night, and it just goes to show how the mainstream media is set on, causing division. You know what I'm saying? Essentially putting the people that are down there in danger. And so it's very unfortunate. Not only here are we witnessing this phenomenon kind of just unwinding, but all across the border you have breach points in which people are bringing kids over, and I've been able to document week after week children that are being trafficked through the border. A lot of the times they're being brought over by military-aged males that, when you look at a kid, and I don't mean to be judgmental about a situation, but I've been doing this long enough that, hey, look, if I see a parent or I see 20, 30, 40 males coming in with one kid and they all tell me the same story, I'm like, and I'm going to tell you how I tell them. Hola, caballero, ¿con quién viene usted? And he tells me, yo solo. ¿Y el niño? Pues también con el niño o con la niña. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, ¿de dónde viene? And then they usually tell me, de Guatemala. I'm like, oh, okay, está muy peligroso. And he's like, oh, sí, no, está muy peligroso. And I'm like, pues si está tan peligroso, ¿por qué no mandaste a tu señora con el niño? Y a ver cómo te las ves tú allá, ¿verdad? No, es que me abandonó. Every single time, and you can go through hours of footage of me being out at the border, and it's always, they abandoned me, my wife abandoned me, me abandonó. Consistently, they're being coached into saying this. So, within these past weeks, we started noticing kids being sedated at the border, completely unconscious, their heads just like hanging like rag dolls. And I went even further as I was asking these parents that have the kids on the floor, that the kids look nothing like the guys that they're with. I have my flashlight, and it's a really, really like industrial type of flashlight. And so as these kids are basically unconscious on the floor, like they're just like done. And so I throw my light on their eyes a little bit. And usually if you're asleep, somebody puts a bright light in your face, like you're gonna react, your pupils might twitch a little bit or something. Nothing, like no reaction whatsoever. These guys had to literally pick up the kids, and it looked like a lifeless body. So something else that I experienced about 3 months ago, here in Del Rio, as a matter of fact, at a very famous property down the street. I was out there with 3 other DHS agents after a massive crossing of about 80 people that came through. And while we were out there, we were, again, the group of 80 people had just passed on by, and we were having a Gatorade, and we were just kind of like talking and, in the shade finally. And all of a sudden we hear like screaming, somebody screaming, and we started looking around, and we look over the river, and there's what appeared to be like a 40-year-old man raping like a 13-year-old little girl, like right in front of us, but on the other side of the river. What can we on the American side do? I can't go and swim across the river and, It was reported to the authorities. About an hour later, we saw the municipal police up and down the dunes and whatever. But at that point, the guy had already picked up the little girl in front of us and walked away into the desert with her. Like, and it's like, oh, Anthony, that's so gruesome. Why do you talk about stuff like that? Or that's too, you know, a lot of people will try to tell me, don't talk about this when I'm getting interviewed, like for big networks. Can you not talk about that? Can you not touch on this? I'm like, no, like we have to talk about this. Like, there's ranches right now in Texas where they have state-of-the-art technology to be pulling organs, to be harvesting organs from kids, to be doing mutilation. Like, this is a reality, and this is something that people are not grasping. People are not talking about it. And you know, 40% of the kids that have already come over the border are gone missing. There's no tracking them anymore. So what are we doing? You know, if we as Americans cannot go and stand up for the most vulnerable, we have no leg to stand on if we're not standing up for the most vulnerable, which are the children, you know? I don't agree in the manner that these people are doing what they're doing out here. It does concern me that the only water that they have available to them is a huge water jug that is under the sun that's hot water. But at the same time, we have laws and regulations for a reason. I'm a first-generation American, so this instant gratification nonsense is a slap in the face to Latinos that actually scraped up to the last penny, had to file the last document and have everything legit and on point and have to wait. This is a slap in the face to all of us that have had family members come here to achieve the American dream. This is a slap in the face. So I'm mainly out here advocating for the children. I'm a huge anti-human trafficking advocate. So that is why I'm out here trying to shine a little light.
What's the latest that you've heard, at least right now, present day, what's happening right now on our borders with Haitians?
There's a group of about a little over 19,000 individuals that's currently being tracked right now. These are the same individuals that broke into Mexico, into Tapachula from Guatemala, and also broke out of Tapachula into various parts of Mexico. It's the same people. Just because it's been a few weeks ago does not mean that these individuals' values, morals, or way of thinking has changed or evolved in any way, or shape, or form. This is a third world country. Low-level IQ individuals that are coming over here, and I know it does not sound politically correct for me to talk like that, but it's just a reality. And there are actual scientific studies that have been done that these people IQ is really, really low. So we're bringing individuals that have zero working skills. They don't speak the language. They're not here to assimilate. And so what are we doing? It's going to be a culture crash is what we're setting ourselves up for. A total culture crash, because they're not going to want to adapt to our American lifestyle. You have individuals over there that will just right in front of you start, you know, defecating in front of you, pleasing themselves in front of you. Like, these are like barbaric individuals. And I'm not saying that to try to hype it or anything. This is just a reality. I had Border Patrol agents that I'm really good friends with that I've been able to collaborate here, that work here, that were telling me a few days ago, you know, I don't want to group all Haitians to be the same, but I've never seen a ethnicity or people from a certain country treat kids the way that these women treat their children. The Haitian women treat their children. They take away their food so that they can feed themselves before their kids. They shake them like rag dolls. Is exactly what he told me. He said, he said, I've never had to pry a child away from a mother's hand until these people from this country started coming here, because they mistreat the kids so bad. It's just a completely different way of life, you know, and it's not their fault, but it surely is not our fault either, you know. And we cannot be the dumping ground of refugees or immigrants. You have places like Japan that accept only 7 refugees a year. Okay, we're taking way more than 7. And at some point or another, we gotta start thinking with our hearts and not so much with our head and not so much our heart. It's like a heartbreak. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have that relationship, your heart tells you no, but the right thing for you is to step away sometimes, because if the United States of America goes, there's not going to be any more help for these third world countries. And we continue to put ourselves in debt for all of these other countries, like with no near sight of when this is going to end or when the deficit's going to start going down, you know. So it's really a whole situation.
That's good, Anthony. Appreciate that, man. I appreciate meeting you too, man.
No problem, brother.
You,
appreciate you.
You're from the area?
I'm from Texas, man, but I've been
Texas.
I've been covering this last couple of years. Man. Yeah, man. So, let me know if you need anything. If you want
I
something.
appreciate it, man. Yeah, let me get your
Here, so don't say it on my live. Cool, man. Nice to meet you, brother. You guys take care of yourselves. Thank you guys for being out here covering this. Take care, man.
I mean, right now,
Brother, I appreciate that.
you give them $1 fee.
No.
But, get everything established, get your thing set up.
You see the regulations where it says that they've got to do it. And what we need to do is get people
If
to
you got
start.
questions, man, just reach out.
And on my page, I put the link to the form to file the complaint, and they can just grab it and just boom with the bus number.
He's a pastor from San Antonio.
Hey man, what's all it is? Good to see you. Oh, we gotta get together.
Yeah, good.
I'm executive pastor at Friendship Church. Yeah, yeah. If you want to come, we're having a concert tomorrow night. Yeah. With Ryan Stevenson.
What's that?
I think I heard my wife showed me this podcast. I think you're going to interview with someone. I know that voice.
Seriously, if y'all want to come tomorrow to the concert, I got tickets for it. So it's tomorrow at 7. Nice to meet you guys. God bless you. I got to run home, pick up kids.
All right, buddy.
Good seeing you, buddy.
Likewise, brother. Take care, my man. You're out? Yeah. I'm about to head out.
You're heading out?
Yeah.
Hey, my last hit's at 4:30, so.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for joining me. I will be back in a few hours from a different breach point. You don't want to miss it. We got a brand new transmission and a brand new location, so stay tuned. Stay safe, everybody. And like we always say, peace and love, because always your country's first. Take care, guys.
I'll leave you a link to his videos again. And also there's, what the heck is it? I can't remember, but I'll look it up. American Voice News, Real American Voice News. Let me see if I can get this thing shut down here. Okay. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. God protect the children, and be at peace, not war. God bless.